Hello guys, I have the Moo update for you. Let's start! We now have 3 new materials in game. Burkine in its liquid and solid aggregate state, Brack, Wax and Plastium. When mined, they look like this. The precious resource Burkine can be harvested by milking a Moo. It seems that milking a Moo will give you 100 kg of Burkine. If you deconstruct a liquid reservoir with Burkine in it, you will get that exceptionally cute little milk carton here. Of course, there's also a plant-based alternative. Take a look at Mr. Steve and Merlin Beard Cloak here. You will need 17 kg of water and 3 kg of pincher peppermint. Then you will get 20 kg of Burkine. There are also 2 alternative recipes, one needing sleet wheat and one using the nosh sprout. The sleet wheat version needs 10 kg of sleet wheat grain and 15 kg of water. The nosh bean version needs 2 kg of nosh bean and 18 kg of water for 20 kg of Burkine. You can see Rene and Enrak producing the vegan alternative to the Moo milk. The so produced Burkine will then be dumped via pipes. As you have seen, there are 2 new buildings that allow you to harvest the Burkine. First from the critter, or second, the vegan alternative. The milking station has to be in a stable and it can only be operated by a dupe with a critter ranching skill number 2. It does have a liquid output. To figure out how long it will take for the Moo to be able to get milked again, check out the info box. There you can see the Burkine supply at 20%. When this reaches 100, your Moo can get milked again. The total change per cycle is 25%, but only if your Moo recently ate. Then you will get the welcoming mood status effect, which gives you a accumulation of +6 per cycle and a Burkine supply of +25% per cycle, but only for a short amount of time. So what do I mean when I say accumulation? Well, check this out. Since the Moos don't really reproduce and when they are happy have a reproduction rate increase of 900%, they will just call another Meteor, which will crash down on your planet and increase your population that way. Look how happy they look when they just ate. Let's check the welcoming mood state. It will last for 0.8 cycles. The second building in our Burkine gathering arsenal is the plant pulverizer, which will give you the 3 already mentioned recipes to produce the Burkine from the plant sources. So what is the purpose of the accumulated critter milk? First, of course you can use it and put it in a water cooler. The dupes actually like it more than the water. Now, if you click on the water cooler, you can choose between water and Burkine, giving you -15% stress per cycle and +2 morale, in addition to the +1 for the recreation. The water cooler can store 10 kg of Burkine. The second use of Burkine is using it in the critter fountain. The critter fountain gives a new status effect to the hatches and all the other critter called Hydrated. Hydrated gives a +5 happiness for 1 whole cycle to the critter. The critter fountain has a storage capability. What I wanted to say is that the critter fountain has a storage capability of 80 kg. I tried to test this, but I'm not completely sure. When 22 critter drink from the critter fountain once, it uses up around 5 kg of the Burkine. But better test that for yourself, because I'm not sure if every critter has their own amount that they drink, but at least they have their own animation. You might be wondering why such a building was implemented, giving us a +5 happiness bonus for all the critter. Could be that because of the giant debuff that they also implemented. The happiness debuff from the overcrowded effect now scales with the number of excess critter in the space. Let's check this out. This hatch has an overcrowded of -40 happiness. And now we're at -53. The number of critter in this area is 56. The critter fountain building also has to be in a stable, otherwise it will not work, as you can see by the red symbol here. The critter fountain building also has a liquid input, as can be seen here. So what are those 2 blobs here exactly? The first one is Brack Wax and the second one is Plastium. And while the pure Burkine almost has the same properties as a regular water with a specific heat capacity of 4.1 and a thermal conductivity of 0.609, compared to water with a 4.17 and the same thermal conductivity, the freeze point of the liquid Burkine is with -16.5 degrees Celsius pretty good in an application for cooling, but its vaporization point of 80 degrees Celsius is of course worse than that of regular water. I did not find an application for the frozen Burkine yet, but it is only a matter of time until we do. The Braxwox, on the other hand, this one here, except for the specific heat capacity of 1.92 and a thermal conductivity of 0.15, its melting point is at almost 160 degrees Celsius. You can also make Braxwox with a new building that the game implemented, or by cooking off the regular Burkine. When you properly cook your Burkeen, you will get a few resources out of it. Let's wait a little bit. The Burkeen will first turn into brine. The brine will then turn into steam and drop salt in the process, while the Burkeen will drop brack wax. If you then further cook the brack wax, you will get some naphtha out of it. Luckily, there's an easier way to get the brack wax. We have the brack wax cleaner, which can use 1 kilogram of Burkeen per second, emitting 90 grams of brack wax per second and 810 grams of brine per second. Also a bit of carbon dioxide and heat production. As you can see, the Burkeen can be fed in via a liquid pipe input and the brine is dumped via a liquid pipe output. In our case, just down below. The building requires emptying and cleaning once in a while. That is also how you get the brack wax, by the way. So what can we use this for? Well, easy answer. We now have the plastium, requiring the brack wax, plastic and thermium to make the plastium. Plastium is theoretically the same as thermium, but in form of plastic, given a plus 900 degrees Celsius overheat temperature addition to whatever you're building. With the plastium gained, we can now use it for building. Plastium has a melting point of 1827 almost, which gives us an incredible range for our builds. Building with regular plastic tiles, for example, if we place those down made out of regular plastic compared to platinum, we increase our melting point from 160 to almost magma temperature. Same goes for plastium ladders compared to regular ladders, and of course transit tubes. Regular transit tubes compared to plastium transit tubes. The left side has a melting point of 160 and the right side has a melting point of over 1826.9, meaning we can place those in magma without them melting compared to the regular ones, which instantly turn into sour gas. The plus 900 degrees overheat temperature comes into place if you build something like a mini liquid pump, for example, made out of plastium. This one also has the property of a melting point of 1827, but it can overheat at 975 degrees, meaning you still cannot put it in the magma. Other buildings that could be affected are, for example, the conveyor meter. Let's use copper and regular plastic, copper and plastium, steel and regular plastic, and steel and plastium. As you can see, the first two instantly melted, meaning only the metal has an influence on the melting point. I'm not sure why you would ever do that, but you could place your wall toilets made out of plastic inside of the magma biome. The more fun use for the brack wax is another though. Let's grab this here, dump it all the way down in the base, right about here, and then get us two new duplicates. I grabbed us the lovely Chris and J-Ray here. If you click on the transit tube access point, you can now enable the smooth ride, lubricating your dupes with the brack wax if they want to do it. Do they have to be connected for that? Yes, they do have to be connected for that. Chris, just don't. Like that. So let me explain. In order to accurately measure how fast the dupes reach the top of the planet, I place down a little setup here. As soon as the duplicant motion sensor detects the duplicant in this tile here, same to the left, it will send a permanently green signal with this automation wire going all the way up the base. Finally ending in this setup here. The signal will end up in an AND gate where they are connected to a timer sensor. The timer sensor is set to 0.5 green and 0.5 seconds in red. They're absolutely synchronous because I built them at the same time. Then they will activate a signal counter. The signal counter will roughly count the seconds that the duplicant needs from the motion sensor to the pressure plate. The duplicant that reaches the top first will activate the weight plate, activating the automated notifier, pausing the game, zooming towards this point and saying us that it has been the lubricated dupe or the regular dupe. So let's get back down. So I did grab thus Chris again and J-Ray. Chris on the regular side, J-Ray on the lubricated side. Both of the duplicants already got the move to command to the pressure plate, even if they're slightly asynchronous, which they are not. This duplicant motion sensor will accurately counter that. So let's just follow J-Ray because I highly guess that this is the faster dupe, and unpause the game. And here we are. 20 seconds later, J-Ray reached the top. Let's wait for the second duplicant. Just 6 seconds later, Chris also arrived. Let's reset the experiment and give it another try. First, click this here. Secondly, pause the game and reset this. There we go. Then we go back down. Okay, the third time is the charm. Let's unpause the game and check this out. They are quite fast. Can barely follow. Rennie taking the lead with 20 seconds again. Unpausing the game. And 6 seconds later, Enerak also appears. Okay, let's measure the distance. For roughly 375 tiles, plus minus 2 or 3 of the transit tube crossings. Giving us 20 seconds for 375 tiles is pretty impressive. We also used up 0.1 kilogram of brake wax per tube ride. Let's take a detour from the new materials. There's also other new buildings regarding older resources, like this Bluestone Hopper. The Bluestone Hopper, as the name implies, produces bleachstone. It uses 30 kilogram of salt and 500 gram of gold to produce 10 kilogram of bleachstone and 20 kilogram of sand. It doesn't need any active duplicant labor except for the delivery. You can also use an auto sweeper, for example, and it uses up 480 watts of power. Funny thing is, it just throws out the material like this. Thank you, Merlin's beard cloak. The building also produces 3 kilodTUs of heat. It does count as industrial machinery. Finally giving us an alternative method to produce bleachstone besides puffs. Speaking of puffs, the pufflet prints now affect egg chances of other critters in the same room, in the same way as the adult puffed prints already did. So if you click on the squeaky puffs and check the egg chances, you can see that even if I should delete the puff prints now, the values stay the same. Not sure how they affect regular critter that are not puffs. When we already talk about flying critter, let's check out the flying critter trap. They do need to be armed. What is needed for that is a duplicant with a critter ranching #1 skill. The lovely one Hale Yudo and Aiden Olsen are arming the critter traps. And as you have seen, we can even catch a Moo. And this one here is the best animation. As you see, all the new critter traps are at least 2 tiles high. They also can be rearmed once activated. The shine bug in the airborne critter trap makes a good lamp. The fish trap can also catch Paku that are flopping on land. There we go. Once caught, you can of course release the critter. If you want to, you can even reuse the critter traps. As for the material the traps are made of, they are now not made out of plastic, but made out of regular metals, or regular metal ores and steel. You know the drill. If you have some older traps in your existing safe, they have been depreciated but are still functioning. There also have been a few changes to the gas grass. First, it does no longer require an atmosphere to grow. Second, it now only requires 10,000 lux instead of 20,000 lux, which is why I just placed down 2 sun lamps. Gas grass will now wilt instead of sleep when its illumination requirement isn't met. Like this. Gas grass now also needs 25 kg of dirt per cycle as fertilization. The irrigation is 500 grams of liquid chlorine per cycle. They also improved the responsiveness of critters being called for grooming. They are now way faster and appear at your grooming station in no time. Also, take a look at this annoyed stone hatchling. So awesome. Not only did they improve the responsiveness to grooming, but to all tasks of the critters by increasing the frequency of the brain updates. You might feel that if you have too many critters, probably will cause a lag. Flying critter now avoid idling on space exposed locations that are significantly elevated above the asteroid's surface. What happens if I dump a few gassy moos up here? I spawned in a few more. Seems like they do hover around a maximum of 20 something tiles above the ground. Or maybe we need to count from here. Not sure. Now that we have this many critter, they also lay a lot of eggs. Let's grab one and drop it. Why did I drop it here? Because we can now automate the egg cracker. For example, if this weight plate reaches above 40 kilograms, it will activate the egg cracker. Now activating, cracking all the hatchling eggs and stone hatchling eggs forever. Merlin's beard cloak to the rescue. And there we have it. The new raw egg. Why do I say new? Because we can now eat it. It has 1600 kilocalories. Unrefrigerated, it can hold out for 8 cycles. Of course, it is a grisly meal. What else can we do with a raw egg? Easy, you grab a little bit of sleet wheat grain, combine it with a raw egg, put it in an electric grill and make some souffle pancakes. They are pretty amazing if the developers fix their decimal error. At the moment, a painstakingly made souffle. These here only have 3.6 kilocalories. That seems to be a decimal mistake. So we just wasted a 1600 kilocalorie egg and 2 sleet wheat grain to make a 3.6 kilocalorie souffle pancake, which does have a quality of +3 good, which will be a +8 morale boost. Still pretty impressive, but as you can see, Dupe's still hungry. No wonder. In addition to the really light souffle pancakes, there's now the mushroom quiche. Using omelette, lettuce and fried mushroom, a lot of calories, 2800, 400 and 2800, to produce a 6400 kilocalorie superb morale plus 16 mushroom quiche, giving you aquatic diet, radiation resistance. They increased the length of the 8 from feeder effect to 2 whole cycles. This one here is now time remaining 2 cycles, giving us -20% wildness per cycle plus 2 happiness per cycle, even when they just eat mealwood seeds, which makes the taming process easier and you do not need to waste your precious algae for that. There have been changes to the Meteor System. The Meteor blasters can now select which meteor they want to shoot down. And as you can hear by the annoying noises in the background, they also changed the sound mixing. If you do not want to shoot down your gassy moose, for example, you can deactivate them. They are deactivated from the start. The Meteor blasters now target meteors further down into the not buildable area so that they shoot ahead of time. Meteors that are destroyed by the blast shot now return 25 of the resources they would have dropped on collision with a tile. Okay, let's compare this. The left side is being shot down and the right side is landing normally. The left side, let's collect all the material, has 3.5 kilogram and the right side does have 19.3 kilogram. If you have one of the active meteor showers on any of your planets, you now have a diagnostic for that. I can't show you this because I didn't get any bombardment. They have now added a turning sound to the telescope. In the base game it is one telescope, in the DLC it is both telescopes. As you have also seen, they adjusted the telescope animations. They added a lot of new care packages. For the DLC, for example, there's the Mellow and the Bliss Burst now in care packages. If we find this would be... No, okay, this would be amazing. They added the Grub Fruit Plant Seed care package and care packages for seeds, food, critter and eggs, which normally require you to first discover them, are now available after cycle 500. For the base game only, the organic mass space destination now yields more gas grass and gassy moose. There has also been an effect in place that I didn't even know of. This year is a nature reserve giving +6 morale. This year is a park giving only +3 morale. Before, when you walked through the nature reserve and then walked into a park, apparently the lesser park bonus stormed the bigger nature reserve morale boost. Let's check this. We are at +6 from the nature reserve. So apparently they fixed that. Didn't even know that it was an issue in the first place. They also added changes to the supply closet. If we go to the wardrobe, for example, you now have the tiny little icons view your clothing outfits and your atmosuit outfits right next to each other here in the top left corner. They also adjusted the supply closet item categorization. Let's go back and check this out. Ooh. And it even shows you which canvases you are missing. It no longer shows a question mark or a hidden display. Also, the default outfits for the duplicants should now show a mannequin, wearing this. They also improved the UI feedback in the item drop screen when the app is having difficulties communicating with the item server. No clue what I mean with that. Leave a like for all the update notes. Thank you all for watching. If you want to check out my builds or let's play videos, love you guys and Luma out. The more fun use for the brag wax, goddammit, brag wax.